June 5, 1950. Dining car equality. The United States Supreme Court issued a landmark decision in Henderson v. United States, which declared that segregation in railroad dining cars violated the Interstate Commerce Act. The case was brought by Elmer W. Henderson, a black government employee who was denied equal dining facilities while traveling on a train operated by the Southern Railway. The court's decision did not rely on the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, but instead found that the carrier's practices were discriminatory under federal law governing interstate commerce. The Southern Railway had implemented a policy that reserved specific tables for white passengers and required black passengers to wait for separate accommodations, even if seats were unoccupied. Henderson had purchased a first-class ticket for travel from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. When he attempted to dine in the railroad's dining car, he was prevented from doing so on equal terms. The railway maintained curtains and dividers to separate black and white diners, often forcing black passengers to eat at improvised times or miss meals altogether. Henderson filed a complaint with the Interstate Commerce Commission, which initially upheld the railway's policy. Henderson then appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court reversed the ICC's decision, holding that the segregated dining practices denied Henderson the same level of service afforded to white passengers. Justice Hugo Black delivered the opinion of the court, emphasizing that the discrimination Henderson suffered violated Section 3(1) of the Interstate Commerce Act, which prohibited unjust discrimination by interstate carriers. The court found that Henderson's experience was not an isolated incident, but reflected a pattern of inequitable treatment based on race. This ruling was one of several key decisions in the mid-20th century that weakened the legal foundation of racial segregation in the United States. Though the decision did not explicitly overturn Plessy v. Ferguson or address the constitutionality of segregation in general, it played a critical role in setting precedents for later civil rights victories. By relying on regulatory statutes rather than constitutional claims, the court demonstrated that segregation could be challenged through multiple legal avenues. The Henderson decision helped strengthen the legal position of African Americans who face discrimination in interstate travel and contributed to the broader movement toward desegregation. It was followed by other landmark rulings, including Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, which would explicitly declare racial segregation in public education unconstitutional. The Supreme Court's action on June 5, 1950, marked a step forward in the struggle for racial equality in public transportation and signaled a shift in judicial willingness to address segregation using federal statutes. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.